Heyo!
Good evening. We're back.
Round 5.
I'm Tamara Rubin from TamaraRubin.com and Let's Safe Mama, and this is Carissa
From CreativeGreenLiving.com.
and we are testing fidget spinners tonight, very late at night, because this is the only time where our children will be quiet. And we are in our little secret lab hideout. And we're using an X-ray fluorescence spectrometer to do this testing. This is a scientific instrument, and so the results should be very repeatable by anyone else trying to use the same instrument doing this kind of testing. This instrument costs, these instruments cost between $20,000 and $50,000. The new ones are about in the $50,000 range, and the used ones are in the $20,000 range. And we just rented it with the help from all of you who donated money to help cover the cost of this testing. So thank you very much.
This is what we're doing right now. Round 5 is these 3. So we're going to start with a black X Design fidget spinner.
I believe this is Cheryl's. Cheryl, thank you for all the help, Cheryl. Oops. Cheryl's been really great. She's a mama of a lead exposed kiddo and has been super helpful and supportive of our work.
Thank you.
And the thing I noticed about this when I got it was that I felt that it was like heavier than some of the others because I couldn't figure out if like the plastic was more dense or what. I mean, it would be cool if there was a similar instrument that detected what kind of plastic stuff was made of.
Oh yeah.
I mean, there must be, but maybe there's not. Maybe it's it's only lab stuff.
So this one, it says it's designed in California but made in China, not suitable for kids under 3.
And it's one of the very few ones that has a logo on the actual gizmo. So it says X Design on the spinner. That's part of the problem with these, and I understand like the recalls that are happening in, I think in Germany, and I think I heard there was another recall.
U.S. Customs seized a large...
Not U.S. Customs. Really? U.S. Customs did?
I thought it was.
No, it was German. It was German Customs.
No, that's the one from today, from last week. I think U.S. Customs or U.K. Customs.
I heard U.K. and Iceland.
I'm going to double check on that before the next video to tell you guys for sure. Somebody's Customs seized a large shipment of fidget spinners and destroyed them because they tested high for lead.
Well, actually, that was because they had the LEDs and the batteries, and they were falling out and coming apart. And so there was, I think, both the concern was primarily the batteries, and which is something we brought up in our other videos.
Because aside from lead, that can kill your kid. If your kid swallows a battery, your kid can die.
Yeah.
Or be permanently injured for life with a permanent disability and have years of surgery and recovery ahead of them.
So I did a test here just now, and it tested positive for low lead. So in the bearing, and that wouldn't be why it's heavy. And I have it on a different spot now, and it's not testing positive. So
the center tested positive?
The center was negative, but the bearing area was positive.
On the edge.
Yeah, somebody had told us that the bearings tested positive with the swab. So this is one I probably want to go back and retest with the swab to make sure, because it's not ideal. And even though it's low level, if it's low level because it's taking into account the different components and not just taking into account the level of one specific component, it could be much higher when you just take that component by itself.
Yeah, because can we show them the scope on the front of it?
Yeah, hold on 1 second, right here, this.
Yeah, so what she does is she lines up that scope, and so if we're looking at a really thin rim of metal, if it's the metal that contains lead, it's inside that scope is going to be plastic and metal and other things.
And this was 129 plus or minus 85 for lead on the edge, but otherwise didn't have lead. So that's, again, that would be below, within the safe standards, because 90 parts per million is considered safe, and 129 plus or minus 85 is considered safe. But that it detected lead at all makes me want to reassess, because it might have lead in the lubricant on the bearings or something else like that.
So this is the new one that we're doing from Hyperaddictive Sensory Toys for Hyperhumans.
Finally, some different packaging. All the packaging looks like this. These are the made in China ones.
Yeah, this is like generic made in China packaging. And they all look different, but that's what the made in China ones, a lot of them look like that.
And one of the big accountability issues was, again, that they're not marked with a company name or contact information or...
Yeah, there's no brand, so you can't, make sure.
Or call the company.
Yeah, well, and it's hard to tell people, hey, go buy this thing on Amazon because it's just a picture of a white fidget spinner.
Yeah.
Who knows who made it or what brand it is? Like, there's no way to know. It's just whatever Chinese company signed up to sell them on Amazon that day is who will send you one.
So this one is also testing positive for low lead. Right now it's saying 85 plus or minus 23 on the bearing.
Can we pick up the screen and see what we're seeing there?
Yeah.
Thank you. Perfect.
And so I do have a concern about this, just because in the scope I'm getting a little bit of the metal, a little bit of this part, a little bit of the plastic, so it might be a higher level. And these are the first two that have tested positive for low lead. Like
that are
that.
plastic designed like this. So usually the ones that have tested positive have some kind of metal component, whether it's the center part looks like brass or the edges are made out of metal or have a metallic finish to them. We had one that was an LED one that had a metallic paint, and the metallic paint was testing positive for lead and mercury. Generally, Charlie, our resident lead expert,
My 8-year-old son.
Tamara's 8-year-old, observed that all of the quote-unquote boring spinners are the ones that tend to test negative, and I'm actually surprised. I think these are the first 2 boring spinners that have tested positive.
That was my concern. That's why I haven't been quick to recommend to people, oh, these are the lead-free ones, because since there's so many different vendors and stuff, and I just am not comfortable saying that they're all lead-free. I mean, I have been saying that these are likely to be lead-free, these are the safer ones, but I'm not going to go with 100% lead-free. So this one's testing negative. Now, that's consistent with what we're saying, the boring ones.
Right.
So right now we've got 2 that were low lead,
Right.
and that would be great to reconfirm, and 1 more in the unleaded category. So we've got a total of 18 that have tested positive for lead so far. And that's the one last thing about that is that they were our critics, we have critics. Our critics were saying, well, it's a small sample. Well, here we go, no longer a small sample.
No, we're going to have quote, 50 or more data points by the time we're done doing
Yeah,
this.
and we're going to do this again in just another minute. We're trying to make these quicker, so fewer spinners, and we're going to test a few more in just a moment here.
We'll be back in 5 minutes.
Bye-bye.